Hello and welcome to the United Stand. There is a battle ahead and many battles are lost, and Manchester United will play Spurs on Monday night at Old Trafford, and we need to be united behind Manchester United. It doesn't matter whether you are Jose Mourinho in or out, or you want him out sooner or rather later or never. The reality is Manchester United are playing for 3 points against Spurs on Monday night, and if we don't take those 3 points, come Tuesday morning we will be 6 points behind Liverpool, Spurs, Manchester City and probably Chelsea as well. 6 points is the tipping point for me. I think when you go beyond 6 points away from 4th place, that's when somebody's job becomes perilous, in my opinion. But I don't. What do you feel about this, and where at what point do you? Well, what do you feel about this? As a Manchester United fan, I just think Manchester United against Tottenham. Tottenham are going to finish in the top 4. This is at Old Trafford. This is our home game against Spurs. We've got to win this game of football. What goes on ahead of then? I mean, I personally think Mourinho's time at Manchester United isn't going to be judged on what he does against the top teams. It's going to be what he does against Brighton, what he does against Huddersfield, what he does against Newcastle. Manchester United Spurs, we need to just win this game. I've said before, look, if you want Mourinho to go, I think what the minimum you should be hoping for is a scrappy 4th in May, and we get Champions League and Jose goes. I don't want to see Manchester United out of the top 4 and Mourinho sacked. I don't want to see that happening. We've seen that happen. We need to be united behind the club, and we need to see players delivering on Monday night. This is Manchester United against Tottenham. If we were in the bottom 3 and Tottenham were top of the league, I would expect to see Manchester United at Old Trafford turning up and putting in a performance, and that's what I want to see on Monday. Mourinho's almost irrelevant. We'll be talking about his tactics and how he's going to line up in a minute. But I do think we need to just forget about where we are with Mourinho just for this game and look at Manchester United going out there, putting on a result and getting 3 points. We need these 3 points. Under no circumstances are those people who are Mourinho out saying, well, it'll be good for us to lose because it'll hasten his departure. This departure will be long anyway. What do you want to lose? Lose the next 5 games and be in the bottom 3. We need to win this game against Tottenham. It's about Manchester United. It's not about Mourinho. It's not about Pogba's ego. It's about Manchester United beating Tottenham. And I firmly cannot move away from that at all. Manchester United must win this game. Jonathan Brown says we're going to play boring defensive and lose. Also, Jose will be sacked soon. I want the real Manchester United to show up with pace, passion and fear. Jonathan, I think we will see a real Manchester United on Monday night, because I think when you look at United against the big teams at Old Trafford, we do tend to put in a performance that gets the crowd going. These are not the games that we are tired and frustrated about. These aren't the games. These are the games we normally win. These are the games where, you know, the Man City 3-2 at the Etihad and we go, yeah, let's start something, and then we lose next week to West Brom. We know where the problems are. As I said last night, I feel that Burnley and Watford are more symbolic than this game. But we must win this game. Draw or a loss, not good enough. We've got to win this game of football. So, what's my predicted lineup? Let's get into that first of all, because Jose Mourinho is apparently going to drop up to 5 players. I think he'll drop 4. I don't agree with this. I'd like to know what you lot think. I don't agree with wholesale changes. I think one of Mourinho's, and I've been very consistent about this, is consistency. I think Jose Mourinho's lack of consistency in his time at Manchester United means that we are a very chameleon team. There is no there's no consistency in our performance because there is no consistency in the team that he selects. So De Gea will be in goal, obviously. I think that's by the by. Jones and Bailly is what I think he'll go with as centre-backs. I 100% disagree with that. I think Lindelof and Bailly should be the centre-backs. I know they didn't play well against Brighton, but Bailly was rubbish against Brighton. Lindelof actually was okay. He wasn't brilliant, but he was okay. He made a mistake, but his performance overall wasn't as bad as Bailly's. But I think Bailly will start. I think he will bring Phil Jones in. And whatever you say about Phil Jones, injury prone and also makes mistakes. So I wouldn't play Jones, I'd play Lindelof, but I firmly believe that Jose Mourinho will do that. I don't think Valencia is going to be back fit, so I think we'll see Young and Shaw as fullbacks. I mean, Ashley Young was terrible against Brighton. I thought Luke Shaw was the only player to have an okay game, i.e. above average against Brighton. He was the only one to come out with any credibility, so I think he will play. Matic has to play, fundamental to Mourinho's philosophy. And also, Mourinho doesn't know how to use somebody like Pereira or Fred in the CDM role anyway. Mourinho wants just a plodder to sit there, shield the back four and play 5-yard passes and take too many touches. And Matic is one of the best in the world at that. And that's a compliment. Matic is very good at just sitting in front of the back four, shielding it. And that's what Mourinho wants. He can't use people like Pereira and Fred who want to take the ball off the back four and play 30, 40-yard passes and dribble with the ball. He doesn't want that. He wants somebody just to sit there and do that. So that'll be a really important return for him. I don't think there's any chance that Paul Pogba won't play. I think the less we say about Pogba, the better. We know what Pogba's got to do against Spurs on Monday night. He needs to perform. And I'd be very, very... This is one of the positions where they're predicting that might get dropped for Fellaini. I will throw up if Fellaini starts against Spurs on the watch-along. I'll be disgusted. I think it's bad enough bringing people like Phil Jones back in, but if you bring Fellaini into a starting United lineup, then I would be very close to saying the words Mourinho out, because there is just that's not Manchester United. As I said, Cardiff and Manchester United are the only two teams in the Premier League playing hoofball. Manchester United should be nowhere near hoofball, and Fellaini represents that. So I'm going to hope that rumour that Fellaini will start is not true, and that we will see Fred. So this is my... And remember, I've got 9 out of 11 on my 2 games so far. Yes, Matic is back, says Pankaj. I think that will be important to United. And then obviously I think we'll see Sanchez coming back. No surprises there. Lingard and Lukaku. So that completes my predicted 11. I don't know what a lot of you lot think. Rojo might play, says Kyle. I very much doubt we'll see Rojo playing. I think that's the team he's going to go with. And I do think that having somebody like Jesse Lingard who can really get back and forth and help Ashley Young out is really important. I thought one of Mourinho's big mistakes, and he made many against Brighton, was playing Juan Mata. It was like he didn't watch the Leicester game. Ben Chilwell at Old Trafford for Leicester just had the freedom of that side, and he got forward and forward. And he played Mata again against Brighton, and again Brighton exploited that hand side. Lingard will put the hard yards in. You could even play Rashford there, but we need somebody to play on that right midfield who's going to put the hard yards in and actually can hit on the break. So that's the 11 I think he's going to go with. You know what? There's too many changes for me. Phil Jones shouldn't start. Matic should start. But Phil Jones, I would keep with the same centre-backs. I don't want to see too much wholesale changes there. In relation to Tottenham, how will they play? Well, they're going to play a 3-5-2. Let me just read this out. Manchester United Business Club. Mourinho doesn't know his best 11, and he's on his 3rd season. It's laughable. He is not a modern manager anymore. Let's just get real. Well, I want to talk about Spurs and what they're going to offer. Let me just give you a little bit of a spoiler. Spurs, in their last game against Fulham, had 25 shots on target, 25 shots with 11 on target. Away to Newcastle, they had 15 shots with 2 on target. Manchester United, I don't think we've had 10 shots in 2 games against Leicester and Brighton. So we're up against a team that's going to create chances. But going back to what Manchester United Business Club said there, we are in season 3 for Jose Mourinho. This is the 3rd season. If it's a TV series, you're rocking, you're loving it, you can't wait. This is the prime time. For Jose, you're right. We don't know what his best 11 is. We don't know what his philosophy is. We know what his style of football is. We just don't want to accept what it is. It's not good enough after 3 years. And Phil Neville, got a lot of time for Phil Neville, come out and said it's a disgrace, some of the stuff that's been said about Mourinho. I do agree with Phil Neville to that, to some extent. It is a bit of a witch hunt. There's always been an agenda against Jose Mourinho. But then I think, well, actually, Phil, are you not going to acknowledge the fact that the performance against Brighton was a disgrace? And it wasn't in isolation. United fans are unhappy because this is happening week in, week out, year in, year out. We don't know what his best 11 is. We don't know what the philosophy is. And we keep losing to crap teams playing boring, negative football. That is the disgrace. So, look, the press are going to go after Jose because he sells papers and a lot of them don't like him. I tweeted out yesterday, I want Mourinho to turn this round. Do I believe he can turn it round? Probably not. But look at this. Look at it, right? Apparently he's lost a lot of the players. The board aren't backing him. The press are against him. Half the fans don't want him here. The football is, prime Wimbledon from the 80s. That's 5 pretty damning things. He's got to tick all those off and get back. I can't think, and I said this to you the other day, I can't think of a manager in history that comes back from things like that turns it around. And people will go, well, Sir Alex in the late 80s. No, not really. Not really. That's just totally different. And I think he's going to really, really struggle. But we've got to beat Spurs on Monday night. But I There is not one part of me that thinks we're going to lose to Spurs on Monday. There is not one part of me that thinks we won't win. I'm already looking to Burnley and Watford, which is ridiculously stupid because it's arrogance before a fall, isn't it? But in my mind, I'm already in that mindset of, yes, you should have beaten Spurs. Now go and beat Burnley. That's how I almost feel so irritated by Mourinho and Manchester United that I'm like, you've already beaten Spurs. You've done it so many times. Oh, well done. I'm not jumping on your bandwagon. I'm still pissed off about Brighton. Go and beat Burnley. And that's a dangerous mentality to be in because we haven't beaten Spurs yet. So how are we going to beat Spurs? Well, Spurs have played a couple of formations. The last time out against Fulham, they absolutely annihilated them. They had, obviously, Lloris in goal. Whether he will play, I don't know. But maybe Lloris in goal. They then played three. They had Vertonghen, Sanchez and Alderweireld. They had Trippier and Davis as the sort of wing backs in a sort of 3-5-2. Into the midfield, they had Eric Dyer just sat there with Eriksen and Ali. And then you've got Harry Kane with Lucas Moura playing off him. So it's the sort of formation that we want to see from Manchester United. Will we see a 3-5-2? I correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've ever seen Manchester United play a 3-5-2 at Old Trafford. It is more of a formation that Jose has utilised away from home. We've never really seen the 3-5-2 at Old Trafford, so I don't think we'll see it. I think we'll see the 4-3-3 that I've put up there. But this Spurs team, they've Fulham, Newcastle, it's a bit like United's start with Leicester, Brighton, but they've taken 6 points. They've absolutely peppered the opposition's goal. They're in their rhythm. They play good football. They do press the ball, but they've got a very unimpressive record at Manchester United. I'm going to go with my score prediction of 2-1 that Manchester United will win this. But I am going on the fact that I absolutely demand Manchester United win this game because they owe it to the fans. And I'm also going to go along with the fact that Spurs just don't ever do that well at Old Trafford. Some people think Spurs are going to come at players off the park and win 2 or 3-0. If that happens, we've got a problem. Get on to Houston. We really do have a problem. So Spurs will come. I think we'll sit back and try and hit them on the break. I know that's not what we want to see, but we're not going to go from a team that sat back against Leicester and Brighton to a team that goes all out against Spurs. We haven't got the confidence, we haven't got the philosophy, and we won't do that. We'll play to our strength. We'll play deep. We'll try and hit them on the break. We'll try and utilise set pieces, which is why I'm fearful that he may play Fellaini. And I think Spurs will just come to Old Trafford and play their game. And I've seen Spurs come to Old Trafford last season. Remember Dele Alli missed that absolute sitter. And Martial came on and sort of got a bit of... it was a good goal from Martial's point, but we didn't look like we were going to score all day. Martial comes on and gets the winner. So maybe it's going to be that sort of game. Maybe that's the sort of philosophy, that's the sort of rhythm we're going to see from the game, that we sit back and try and grind out the result like we did against Leicester. But the reality is, Ilar says attack, attack, attack. I'd love to see that. I don't think we're going to see that. What we need to see is 3 points at the end of the game. Because if we don't get 3 points, with the last game of this bank holiday weekend, Liverpool are going to beat Brighton, City are going to beat Wolves, Chelsea, I think, are playing... I don't know who they're playing. Are they playing? I don't know who they're playing. But Newcastle, I think, so they'll win that. We are going to be 6 points behind all those teams come Monday anyway. We certainly don't want it to stay that way. We've got to win. And let's not forget, if we beat Spurs, we've got the same points as Spurs. So the Brighton result is still very, very hurtful, but it still keeps us in contact with top 4. Lose it, and we're in for a lot of trouble this season. So we've got to win the game. What about the situation with regards to Jose Mourinho and how the fans will deal with him on Monday night? I think United fans are very, very respectful. I don't really recall Van Gaal being booed or Moyes being booed per se. It was more about decisions that he made. So I think that United will be afforded the chance, quite rightly, to go out and respond to the Brighton game. And I think that's only right. I think long term, if you're a Mourinho outer, and I had to put a bet on, I think he will be sacked at some point over the next 12 months. But I don't want these things to be happening now. I don't want total meltdown at Manchester United. For me, Jose Mourinho is Jose Mourinho. Paul Pogba is Paul Pogba. Manchester United is all I'm focused on. And I don't want our club delving into embarrassing depths of despair again. We've had that too often in the last 5 years. I want United to get top 4. I want us to be in the Champions League next season. I think that's going to be our limit. That's going to be our ceiling. But And hopefully I don't think that would be enough for Mourinho to stay anyway. I think this was all about Mourinho showing progression, winning a title. And already I think that is very, very, very unlikely. But he can get us top four. He will get us top four, I believe. And that will probably be his parting of the ways from the club. So hopefully we can do that. But we're all if buts and maybes. The players, I don't know what the mentality of the players are. I don't know what the players are feeling. There's rumours that Martial's fine has gone down really badly amongst some players in the dressing room, and this is their issue with Mourinho, who they see as an antagonistic bully. The reality is we're going to see on Monday night whether these players can just put aside their issues with Mourinho and put on a performance, or whether they're just going to hide behind the bad tactics and mess that Mourinho's making of things and say, look, we're not culpable. When he's sacked, we'll still be here and we'll play for the new manager. We've seen that before. It's going to be a very interesting night on Monday. We're more embarrassing under Jose, says Breach69. Francisco Galindo says, hopefully we win this game, but we just need to stay consistent, even against the smaller teams. It's been too long without a title. I think Francisco's spot on. The Spurs game on Monday, from a totally pragmatic point of view, can only go wrong for us. Because if we win, we'll just go, well, we always win those games. It's about what we do against Burnley. If we lose or draw, it becomes more of an issue. So that's how I feel. I don't know whether that's how you feel as well. But it is. Our problem is switching off against the lesser teams. Because it's, as I said this after the Brighton game, it's really easy to be motivated against the big teams. It's really easy to be energetic, switched on, concentrate in the big games. It's hard to stay motivated and switched on against the lesser teams. It shouldn't be, but it is. It's a small club mentality, and Manchester United have become a small club. We would go away to Wolves under Sir Alex Ferguson and know we're in for a fight and relish the fights because we had fighters in the team. Now we go away and we're like, oh, well, he's not going to let us play the way we want to play. It's this pragmatic sit back, and they don't want to do it. They're not interested in doing it. And when somebody's not interested in something, they become slack and they make mistakes. And that's what United are doing at the moment. They're playing for a manager in a system that they don't want to play in, and they can't motivate themselves against the lesser teams. It's not, I can sort of understand it because the football's crap, but at the same time, you paid a lot of money to wear that shirt, and you should be motivated by doing that. So there are issues on both sides. Please do smash a like on the video. Let's see if we can get 500 likes while we're live. Lingard off for Rashford, says Man Bear Nuts. I mean, that's my predicted 11 on the left, on your right hand side when you're looking at the screen. I've got 9 out of 11 right in the first 2 games. I want to keep that average up. So get commenting below with your predicted 11. See if you can beat me. Not many people did in the last 2 weeks because we've had a few left field ones. But I think this is going to be a hard 11 to pick against Spurs because he could just go with the same team. He could bring Fellaini in. He could keep Lindelof. He could play Smalling and Jones. He could put Young to left back and play Valencia at right back and drop Shaw. He could play Mata. He could play Sanchez on the right and put Rashford on the left. There's a lot of things he could do, so I'd be very happy if I get 9 out of 11. What would I do? Would I do anything different to what Jose Mourinho's do? What I predict Jose will do? Yes, I would. I definitely would. What would I do differently? I would get rid of Phil Jones completely. I put him on round the world tour on a boat that lasts about 9 months, and I put Lindelof there. I'd be happy with that back 4, unless Valencia is fit, in which case I would play Valencia and drop Young entirely. Midfield 3, yeah, happy with that. Front 3, to be honest with you, I probably would stick with that. I mean, in dream scenario, I'd like to see Sanchez on the right and Martial on the left, but, pigs aren't going to fly, are they? Can we still win the league? Does anyone in the live comments think that we can win the league? Does anyone watching not live think we can win the league? I don't think we can win the league. I'm going to watch City versus Wolves at lunchtime whilst I'm doing a couple of other things. Keep my eye on it. I think Wolves will have a good season. I think City will wipe them the floor with them today. I think Liverpool are going to smash Brighton. And I think that's the 2 results which for me, because Chelsea and Spurs are a bit unknown quantity, but I think City and Liverpool are going to beat a lot of teams playing the way that they play. And the fact that we can't do that, I'm not saying Liverpool and City are better than us. I think City are. I don't think Liverpool are better than us. I just think that their philosophy of following the City mentality that the current football climate is, you go on the front foot, not the back foot. We went on the back foot against Brighton and we lost. Liverpool will go on the front foot against Brighton and they'll win because that's what we should have done. And I think Jose Mourinho is so stuck in the past that of something that used to be very successful a decade ago. He's so stuck on the back foot, he won't leap forward, and that is what you need to do in the current climate. So we can't win the title, not because we're not good enough, but because we have the wrong mentality from our manager, who's always wanting to be pragmatic. I mean, I find it embarrassing that one of the most energetic and vibrant clubs in world football is now the laziest club in world football, because we don't press and we sit back and we've got the least distance covered than most teams in the Premier League. That's why we're not going to win a title. We can grind top four out playing this way, but you can't win a title playing this way. It's just not the way. The best attack we need for now is Martial left, Lukaku and Sanchez, says Ngoso from Zambia. I wouldn't agree with you. Mourinho out if we lose to Spurs, says Zishan Amjad. I think Jose Mourinho wouldn't be sacked if we lost to Spurs. I think there would be a lot of pressure on him, but I don't think he would be sacked if we lost to Spurs. I think he'd need to lose to Burnley and Watford as well. And I think we're going to get lucky against Burnley because they're playing Europa League on the Thursday and then we play them on the Sunday. So they're going to be tired. So there's an opportunity for us to go and win a game there that we might normally struggle in. If you had to choose between Zidane and Pochettino, for whom will you go? Mark, says Kishore. I'm not in that mindset. I mean, I can say to you Pochettino, I could say to you Zidane. My mindset at the moment is that Mourinho is irrelevant. And I take a lot of satisfaction saying that. Jose Mourinho is irrelevant at the moment. I'm fed up of talking about Jose Mourinho. I'm fed up of the Mourinho circus. I thought he was very negative yesterday. But you know what? Monday night's not about Mourinho. I don't even think Mourinho takes credit for the win on Monday night. I think Monday night is about 11 United players putting a shirt on, giving their all and playing to their potential and getting that win. I'm not going to give Jose the credit unless the football is absolutely scintillating. What I want to see is those players on Monday night wearing that shirt. Passion, pride, result. And I will start to believe in them again. But I'm already on that mindset. We will win on Monday night because we have to win. We have to respond. If we can't respond to Brighton with a win, then we've got massive, massive problems. I doubt we'll see Dalot, Jake Lovett. I doubt we'll see Dalot. We are panicking against Spurs. Winning the title is just too far, says Pro Echo. And Manchester United forever, says Pankaj. 12 million Jose is laughing at you, Mug, says Romeo KGT. I would take Zidane too, says Stavros. When is the Champions League draw? Canal, I will do it. We'll do a show for that. Yeah, we'll do a live Champions League draw show. Why not? We need to change the formation. What about starting Lukaku and Rashford? Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think Spurs will play a 3-5-2. I think they'll come and play in a style that we wish we could play. And I think we'll stick 4-3-3. But we've got to... The way to beat Spurs, I don't think they're particularly great down the flanks. And I think we need to use the flanks. I've always said this, especially at Old Trafford. Get down the flanks. Get down the flanks. Put decent balls into the box. Pogba and Fred commit themselves. Lukaku's a nuisance. Just let Matic sit there. Let them bomb forward. That's how to get through Spurs. I think if we go through the middle, Spurs will kill us. They've got 3 decent ball-playing centre-backs. They've got Dyer, they've got Ericsson, they've got Ali. They move the ball quickly. They will kill us through the middle. Through this area, we will lose. So I would be going down the flanks. But when? When do we do that? When do Manchester United have their fullbacks bombing on past their wide players? But that's how I would beat Spurs. I think that's how Sir Alex Ferguson would do it as well. Tonight at 8 o'clock, we will be live tonight. It's Saturday Night Live, which means it's massively just Q&A. Well, it's not Q&A, but it's your comments, interaction for half an hour or so. Join us tonight at 8 o'clock. We'll obviously be digesting some of the results from the Premier League and what that means. I'm sure Liverpool will batter Brighton, which will depress United fans even more. It's going to happen. It is what it is. Brighton was an embarrassment. Whether Liverpool destroy them this afternoon or not, it was embarrassing to lose to Brighton. I'll see you at 8 o'clock. Thanks everyone who's dropped a like on the video. Please do drop a like on the video on the way out. Give us your predicted 11 below before you go. You can put comments below the video now. YouTube's changed it, so you can actually go below the video and type in your comment and it will stay there. So get your predicted 11 in there. Really want to read some of those because I don't think mine's going to be right. I think I might get as many as 6 wrong today on Monday. So get in there. Let's see who gets it right. And give us your comments below as per usual. What you're feeling, score predictions, how we're going to play, how would you beat Spurs? Your voice is important. I love to read the comments, so get in them as well. Speak to you all soon, back at 8 o'clock.